Hi, this is Tracy. Linda or Jessica, can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you fine.
Okay, yeah, I've just texted the council chambers. They're gonna see if they can reconnect.
Great, thank you.
He agreed to phase one to help with the dugouts and
lottery money coming forward that they can do something else, but for,
There is an issue with the bingo money, what you can and can't use it for. I guess myself, just being on baseball board, struggle with the fact that we rent the diamonds from municipality, but we have to do the outcomes. It doesn't. I struggle with that one, I guess, a bit. Just to. Element you should be, I guess, in my eyes, coming to the big. That being said, we do, I'm under the impression they have some money that they put towards this project and they want to see it done, so.
yeah, and I think the municipality's committed to some money for the phase one and everything. It's not that we're not coming to the table. It's a collaborative effort to improve it. But like I said, I just wanted to, like I said, and specifically the phase four of creation of a new diamond, I was part of building the diamond in Southwold, and at $1.5 million to $2 million, I'm not sure for the inconvenience of using the diamond 3 out there. I'm willing to look at $1.5 million to $2 million to create a diamond.
It's good to see that side.
Yeah, so no, that's, I just wanted to make sure we weren't committing to something we hadn't already discussed. That's all.
Are you satisfied with the,
Yeah, as long as we haven't committed to it, I'm satisfied.
okay, Councillor Dreyfus?
So just to clarify, it's my understanding that there's $20,000 from the Duttons, the baseball, softball, and then we're funding the balance. Is that my understanding? Because it's, we're looking at $32,000, as much as 40,000,
yeah.
what the request.
I have to go back and look at the council resolution when this came about, earlier this year to see what council actually committed to.
I can't remember,
Yeah.
Committing to any dollar value.
Yeah.
I'm not challenging.
No.
I just don't remember, in the budget or in the big picture that we actually, I think we asked them to bring back a proposal and plan, if I
Yeah,
recall
and
right.
yeah, yes, and
Okay,
I agree 100%. It wasn't put in our capital budget, and I think that yeah, I don't believe you guys have committed to it, but it's they can use their money
I think the
to do-
request was for us to donate $20,000 towards it.
Right.
and I think they went around the table that we might approach Green Lane or something like that to get that stuff done. So
So where, the question for the committee is that you obviously want to get, sign the contracts and get going with the construction prior to baseball season. Is that correct?
Well, that's.
If I could interject, I see a hand up from MT. I don't know who that is.
That'll be Mary Jo.
Okay, go ahead. Maybe you can shed some light on this situation.
Are you okay if I go ahead, Linda?
Yes, please, Mary Jo, because you put it together for us. Thank you.
Oh, okay, thanks. Sorry, we had some problem with the audio, so I'm not 100% sure where you guys are at in the discussion, but I think you're talking about kind of the proposal. And if I can just add, what we're really looking for right now is just that phase one. I did hear what you said about the diamonds for sure. About the phase four, that's a maybe. We'll see where we can go someday. Phase one is for sure, the 100%. That's what our intent is, to try and get.
Yeah, I've lost the audio.
Linda, can you still hear us?
Okay, now I can hear you again. Yes, I lost Mary Jo there. Yeah.
Okay, can you expand on what Mary Jo was talking about? I think we lost her.
Yeah. The phase one is, are you back, Mary Jo?
Yes, I'm back. I'm sorry about that. I
Okay.
don't know what happened there. So no, as I was just saying, so we had previously, the board had decided to commit that 20,000, and I believe we came to the council meeting just kind of as an information sharing, and there wasn't any agreement or discussion or any question from council as to put money into it as well. What we're really looking for right now is to move forward with a diamonds upgrades improvement kind of joint committee that would have a number of individuals from softball as well as a number of individuals from the municipality, obviously including some helpful people like either Dan, Gerald, and of course Charlotte. And our focus would be to try and amass as much funds as we can to help fund the rest of what we would need to do in order to complete phase one. That is the goal for this year.
So you're looking to organize a committee, Mary Jo, to get this thing off the ground?
Yes, we are. Yep. A joint committee between softball and the municipality as well. So at the bottom of the report I submitted, the final recommendation there is to get council support to establish this joint committee and work on getting the funds for that, which will obviously require some help from the municipality, because we obviously can't get funds on behalf of the municipality, but I'm willing to help, and so is the rest of the committee, at putting in the work to get those proposals done.
Yeah, and I guess there would be like a payment in kind as well that we'd be looking at from the municipality, some work that we could do.
Yes, and I believe that was part of the original discussion when Linda and Jeff and Dan and Gerald kind of met informally. Was some of that discussion of the demolition of the existing dugouts and that sort of thing.
Councillor Goulard.
Yeah, I don't believe that would be in-kind work because that is property owned by the municipality. So that would be expected work for the maintenance and repair of our facilities. The other piece was, I do have a list of potential sources of funding that I will share with Councillor Dreyfus, as he's the recreation. And I'm assuming he'll probably sit with that group, and I will share that with you. And any tips I can give you on accessing those.
Okay, thank you. So I think the resolution speaks to the committee. So why don't we deal with the resolution? I think that pretty well handles what softball is looking for at this time. Clerk Tara, please.
Moved by Loveland, seconded by Pemberton, that the Council of the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich supports the proposed baseball diamond upgrades at Sons of Scotland Park and directs staff to participate in the Joint Diamonds Improvement Committee. All in favor?
Okay,
And that's carried.
thank you.
Okay.
Planner Tracy, are you with us?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I am here. Can you hear me okay?
We can. Thank you. So we're going to double back here and we're going to go back to the planning department. If you're ready to go.
Yep, all set.
Okay, 6A is the proposed 2023 provincial planning statement and helping home buyers protecting tenants act, Bill 97. You have a report, Planner Tracy.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor, to the members of the council, I wanted to present to you the two items here that is been presented by the province of Ontario. One is the new PPS. So it's a replacement of the 2020 PPS. This is going to be referred to as the 2023 PPS. The wording is just slightly different. And then also Bill 97, which builds on the Bill 109 that was announced previously before Christmas. So I've just given you in my report a brief summary of the items that I thought council might be interested in how some of these items might impact Dutton Dunwich. There's a third component to this report. Further to your last council meeting, you had passed a resolution asking that the correspondence from the OFA be forwarded to me, and I bring back a report to review their letter, which I have done that because it actually corresponds very nicely with the new changes to the PPS 2023. So the first item is the PPS. So there are some fundamental changes, but some of the significant changes wraps policies around prime agricultural lands and settlement area expansions. So there's a little less protection of farmland and a little bit more flexibility on allowing developers now to come in and expand your settlement area. Where if you remember before, it was swapping and there was no net increase, and employment land conversions had to occur with no net increase as well. And there was some very specific criteria. Some of those criteria are still there, but it's no longer up to the municipality to do a comprehensive review. The developer can come in as well and do those expansions. They do have to justify it, and there are some key components, such as you still have to comply with MDS, and you still have to make sure that you're not taking prime agricultural land out of productivity. So the heavy lifting is still with the developers to be able to justify that, to do any of those official plan amendments where the County of Elgin is your approval authority. In rural lands, like in Iona or Wallacestown, where there are no full services, they're on partial services, there's some wording that's been added where it now is going to allow for multi-lot development where it wasn't there before. So that helps in case there's some infilling or rounding out of any of those hamlets that can be put on a septic system, but still use municipal water. Agricultural additional residential units, or ARU for short. We had already had that in our Dutton Dunwich official plan, but the PPS reaffirms that ARU are permitted. And they actually took a little bit of a different perspective where they say that the ARU needs to be near the cluster of the farm dwellings. So that might be something we'll have to go back, if approved, and amend in our official plan and our zoning bylaw. Now, lot severances are definitely impacted, and we may see some more applications. So the severances for the surplus dwellings, they remain the same. They still use the word habitable, and you still have to be a bona fide farmer in order to get a surplus dwelling off of a farm. But new to the new PPS is new vacant lots. And a few of our planning communities have been testing each other out to see how you would interpret that. And of course, once those regulations are in place, we'll have a better idea. But right now it reads that a farmer can actually take up to 3 lots off of a farm parcel or a farm lot that existed before January 1st, 2023. So there are some requirements on that. If you recall, about 20 years ago, they used to be called like infilling or scrubland policies, where if a farmer had trouble getting their equipment into a certain space and the area was overgrown, they weren't using it for crop, it was low grade farm area, then that would be an appropriate spot to create these lots. So it's not like you can take prime agricultural land that's out of productivity, and you're going to have to prove that the land is low grade or a low priority land. And you may start seeing items such as a justification study being required as part of those severances. So that concludes some of the key things that I think council should be aware of. For Bill 97, the key item is, if you recall, we need to give refunds if we can't process an application fast enough. So they had held off. Originally, it was supposed to be January 1st, 2023, that it would be enforced. Now they've pushed it off to July 1st. So that is when we would be starting the clock ticking when we get applications. But the nice thing is that because we knew it was coming and they've given us this extra time, we've been kind of practicing, and I'm pretty confident that we can process applications in a timely manner. We shouldn't be able to give any refunds. And then the third item is the OFA letter. So as mentioned with the letter, they had mentioned the word agricultural assessment as well, which is in line with what the PPS is saying, is that in order to be able to create rural lots in the agricultural farms, you would have to prove or have some sort of criteria. So they have explained that they would like to see it protected, and the PPS sort of loosens that up a little bit for municipalities. However, there are still ways for our municipality to keep it under control, so farmers are not going to abuse the policy. And of course, these are just minimum requirements. It'll be up to the county first to put it in their official plan, and then Dutton Dunwich will have an opportunity to fine tune some of the policies when it comes into your local official plan. So that concludes my summary. You did pass a resolution a month ago with respect to supporting changes to the PPS. I recommend that those comments that you have passed could be incorporated into this commenting period. So for the PPS, comments are due on June 5th. And for the ERO for Bill 97, the comments are due May 6th. So happy to answer any questions you might have.
Deputy Mayor Loveland.
Tracy, I took a quick look through the new proposed PPS. Am I interpreting it correctly that you could create those new lots adjacent to existing non-agricultural uses? So that would mean on the edge of settlement areas without amending the settlement area?
Yeah, so if there was a situation where a farmer owned a farm adjacent to our settlement area, the farmer would be able to sever off 3 lots, vacant lots. It doesn't have to have a house.
And there's no requirement that, if I'm reading it correctly, that you would have to rezone to prevent the construction of any new houses on the retained parcels then?
No, they left the wording for surplus dwellings to freeze the vacant remnant piece, but they have not applied that same rule for lot creation on farm parcels, or even if you had an existing residential lot in a rural area, you could probably even like split it up. So if you had a 4-acre lot in the rural area, it's interpreted that you could even probably sever that off into 2.
Anything else from council? This is kind of a game changer, Planner Tracy. I have a question. Elgin County just approved their official plan. We approved ours less than a year ago. What does this mean to, or how much work do you have ahead of you when this is finally passed, the new PPS, as far as getting our official plan and the county in line?
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor. So the Planning Act will end up having some regulations on how long we need until we have to pull these policies into our new official plan. So we have to review our OP every 5 years. So it'll either come in on our 5-year review, or we'll just start a review as soon as the county of Elgin finishes their review.
Okay, thank you. Anything further from council? Councilor Dreyfus.
Tracy, you mentioned that with the motion we made, I think it was probably a month ago in response to the surplus land, you recommended that we use that to support this to support as again what they're proposing here.
Yes, so I can submit that resolution that council passed with respect to looking at the PPS and creating opportunities for increase in lot creation. I can submit that to the ERO on your behalf. Individual councilors can certainly provide comments directly to the ERO, or council can ask me to come back before June 6th and we can submit additional recommendations once you have had some time to look at it.
Anything further? Deputy Mayor. Lublin.
Just a correction to the mayor. Did the county actually approve their official planners? Just out for review now?
It's out for review,
Okay.
but it's gonna happen.
And I guess kind of a follow-up to Tracy, would the county be advised to wait until this review to the new provincial policy statement comes into effect before they go ahead and adopt theirs? I think they're both being reviewed at the same time as we speak.
So you're taking away my presentation for my next report, which was the update you on the county OP.
Okay,
But
we can wait till then.
no, but that is there is an overlap in those initiatives. So it is anticipated, based on what I've read, that the PPS will be considered approved in the fall. So it will be up to county council to decide on where their timing aligns with fall. They can certainly, they're so close, they could certainly wait until fall and then incorporate all these new policies. Then they don't have to come back again and amend it again. But if they're really quick right now and they can get their OP up and running and public consultation done and in front of council for approval, they may actually have this, done by June or July. So it'll be up to county council on how they want to approach that.
One more quick
Yep,
question
go
and
ahead.
I'll quit on this subject, and maybe I'm getting ahead of myself here too, but if I interpret the proposed provincial policy statement correctly, there's a clause in there that says we have to be in strict compliance with the new PPS. We can't have more conditions on severances that are strict. And as example, I would raise the surplus farmhouse had to be in existence for 5 years in our plan. I don't see it in the PPS, so that's something we would lose.
So the interpretation with the PPS through you, Mr. Mayor, is that the PPS should be read as a guide and that it's a minimum requirement in certain cases. So you can go beyond and you can make it stricter. You just can't make it looser. And the kind of the key word that you probably hear me say often is that we shall have regard to. So you've got, as a planning authority, you need to make sure that you've considered these policies and that these policies are rolled into your actual day-to-day documents. So yes, you could still include that 5-year requirement under surplus dwelling.
One more.
Go ahead.
And I'm looking at section 4332, and it says official plans and zoning bylaws shall not contain provisions that are more restrictive than policy 4331A, except to address public health or safety concerns. So I think that's more of a requirement that we have to be right on with the PPS.
I'm just scrolling to that section. Sorry, you said it was 4.3.3?
Sorry, 433 subsection 2.
And then that's just, okay, so that is just pertaining to lot creation and lot adjustments. Okay, so that is new. See, I'm still reading it and catching things. So overall, arching PPS, the previous answer I gave you is correct, but yeah, this particular subsection on lot creation does say that official plan and zoning bylaws shall not contain provisions that are more restrictive than policy. So yeah, we will have to get some direction on the county on whether that 5 years should stay or not.
Thank you.
There is a resolution just to receive the report, but I think Planner Tracy's looking for direction. Do we add comments yet to the receiving comments until June 5th? The proposed PPS 2023 is not cast in stone yet. So we have an opportunity to send a resolution passed by this council and forward it for their perusal. So direction from council on that for Councilor or Planner Tracy. Any comments on that?
I would recommend that, she finish her review and come back with a report to us before June that we can forward on to the province.
Are we okay with that? And there's nothing preventing council from sending proposals. Planner Tracy, you're clear with direction?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Okay, it's a work in progress, folks, but it is a big deal. So if we're done with that, Tara, please.
Moved by Dreyfus, seconded by Pemberton, that the council of the municipality of Dutton Dunwich receives the report of the planner titled Proposed 2023 Provincial Planning Statement and Helping Home Buyers Protecting Tenants Act, Bill 97, dated April 26, 2023 for information. All in favor? And that's carried.
Thank you. Under planning, B, the County of Elgin draft official plan. Do you want to comment on that, Planner Tracy?
Yes, thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor, to the members of council. So I've presented to you a summary of what the brand new County of Elgin official plan document looks like. So a little bit of a background. It was launched in 2021. There was a series of 5 discussion papers that are available on the county's website. They did some public engagement, some public open houses, online feedback. So based on all of that, the first draft of the document was released in February of this year. It has not been put out to the public for the statutory public meeting as of yet. This is just a soft opportunity for comments. Dutton Dunwich is being circulated the draft document because you're a commenting agency or an authority under the Planning Act that allows you to comment on the document. So this is an opportunity for you to take a look at it and look at it on a technical lens. And then after that, comments can be submitted to county council, and then they'll take a look at all of the comments that they've received from commenting agencies. So like MTO and the Conservation Authority, they'll all be commenting at this time as well. And then what they'll do is county council then will review your comments and then possibly draft up another version and then go out for a more formal statutory public meeting under the Planning Act for the public to be able to comment. So the items that I felt that impacted Dutton Dunwich were, one is, yes, this is based on the 2020 PPS, so county council will have to take into consideration whether they'll try to put in some extra 2023 document policies here, or just stay until the PPS gets approved and then bring it in after September. The background report said that they had enough land for employment and for residential, so they weren't looking at any settlement boundary expansions. Specifically for Dutton Dunwich, they felt that the land we had should accommodate us for growth. We did not get the land swap that we did as part of our OPA into this document because it is subject to Ontario Land Tribunal hearing. So those that decision of the county is not final until the OLT makes a decision. Minimum farm sizes are still 40 hectares, so that's the same. The ARUs are now shown on the policies. The new document talks a little bit more about urban character and trying to preserve small towns and villages so that when there is infilling, like in Wallacestown or Iona, that it is done carefully and in a small scale. There's certain words that are used there. They've challenged us with some density targets, so they want to see a more mix of housing. So they don't want to see just a whole subdivision of single detached dwellings. They want to see some with singles, semis, townhouses, and even multiple dwellings. They've challenged us with minimum affordable housing targets as well. They've changed that through, and that one is always a little harder to implement because you get developers coming on a case-by-case basis, but it is a good target to have. Source water protection has been added. This is new as well. You'll see those in our the mapping and the schedules. And then the Elgin County Natural Heritage Study was incorporated into this document. County Council had held off because there was some public pushback, but they've merged it in and softened up the policies, especially now with the rules of the conservation authorities are different. So they will really just blend in and help provide guidance. So the next step of the county OP review is for them to prepare that final document. They are targeting June of 2023 to have that final document and public consultation scheduled. So that would put in a, the last day of appeal could be July or maybe August. And then once that county OP, because it's considered a brand new one, it's good for 10 years unless they want to come back and review it. But Dutton Dunwich will have 2 years to make sure that we comply to the county OP and any new policies that they put in that get approved. So happy to answer any questions you might have on that.
Are there any questions from council? Has council had a chance, it's a lengthy document, to take the time and read through it. We haven't dealt with it around council yet, and this news about the PPS 2023 is fairly new. So I'm sure the county will take a look at that and maybe make some adjustments. I just don't know at this point. So if nothing further on that topic, Clerk Tara, resolution, please.
Moved by Pemberton, seconded by Drouillard, that the council of the municipality of Dutton Dunwich receives the report of the planner titled County of Elgin Draft Official Plan dated April 26th, 2023 for information. All in favor? And that's carried.
Thank you. And still under planning, 6C is an application for severance. E2523-29861 Aaron Line, Municipality of Dutton Dunwich, Jamie McCaffrey on behalf of Joseph and Trina Livingston. Planner Tracy.
Thank you very much. So again, as a reminder that Dutton Dunwich does have a bylaw that delegates authority to administration to provide the County Land Division Committee with comments. However, we did agree as staff that we would bring anything that was questionable or contentious to council's attention for you to take into consideration. And in this case, there was some concern about the size of the retained parcel. So we wanted an opportunity to get council's recommendation to the Land Division Committee. So just as a background, the purpose is a surplus dwelling farm. The severed parcel will have an area of 8,000 square meters in size with 100-meter depth and 80-meter frontage. The retained parcel will only have a area of 11.33 hectares, and it's an irregular shaped lot with 288 meters of frontage. So we circulated this as staff to our internal departments because, again, we're a commenting agency, we're not the approval authority. There were no major comments from staff. So I reviewed the policies under the planning framework, and under the PPS, it talks a lot about the size of the severed parcel, but doesn't really talk much about the size of the retained parcel. But it does make references that lots should be a size that are appropriate for the type of agricultural use common in the area and are sufficiently large enough to maintain flexibility for future changes in the type of and size of the agricultural operation. So under the PPS, it says that you can use ministry guidelines, and in this case, OMAFRA has a guideline to help with permitted uses in the Ontario prime agricultural area. So I did reference that document, and again, it talks a lot about the size of the retain, but it doesn't really talk much about the size of the, of the sever, but it doesn't talk much about the size of the retain. But it does talk about, trying to encourage keeping farms large enough that it maintains flexibility in key agricultural viability. Now, I did get some advice from OMAFRA as staff as well, and they did not have any issues with this type of severance. They said it happens quite frequently that you have an undersized farm and you've got a scenario where that farmer is a bona fide farmer and does qualify for a surplus dwelling farm and can sever the lot off, and then the vacant remnant piece gets frozen so no new residential lots can be created. So under the county official plan, again, the policies are quite broad. There's a small natural heritage feature on the property, but the development is not affecting it, so there's no need for an environmental impact statement. Our Dutton official plan as well does talk about the retained agricultural lands being put in an A2, which in this case, it would be a condition to do so. Now, looking under the zoning bylaw, in order to be able to move forward with a zoning amendment, we would rezone the severed piece, and then we would allow for a relief of the retained piece. So it's a reduction of from 20 hectares to 11.33 hectares that is set out in your zoning bylaw. So that's where the relief can be considered at a future date, whether that is an appropriate relief to support or not. But in this situation, they're not taking land out of productivity. They're severing it off and keeping the lot as small as possible. They're following the grass area. So what really is changing is the lot, and there's nothing on the ground that will be changing. So the grass area will stay the same. And there was a planning justification report, and administration agrees with the points that are set out in that report. So happy to answer any questions you might have, and the applicant is agents here as well to help answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you for that report. I'm going to just go around the table here and let everyone comment or ask a question if they so desire. I'll start with Councillor Pemberton. Any questions on that? Councillor Drouillard.
No, I don't have any questions. It's very clear.
Councillor Dryfout.
No questions.
Deputy Mayor Loveland.
I have no questions. The lot is a little small, but it makes sense to me that we allow the severance.
Okay. I think we're ready for a resolution. Clerk Tara.
Moved by Drouillard, seconded by Loveland, that the Council of the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich receives the report of the planner titled Application for Severance E25-23 29861 Aaron Line, Municipality of Dutton Dunwich, Jamie McCaffrey on behalf of Joseph and Trina Livingstone, dated April 26, 2023 for information, and that Council of the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich recommends approval to the Land Division Committee of the County of Elgin for proposed severance application E25-23 for 29861 Aaron Line, Municipality of Dutton Dunwich, provided the following conditions are included. that a zoning bylaw amendment is in force and effect for the severed and retained parcels, that septic system review for the severed parcel has been completed, that municipal drain reapportionments have been completed, that a mutual drainage agreement under Section 2 or 4 of the Drainage Act has been provided to provide a legal drainage outlet for the newly created residential lot, that 2 hard copies and 1 digital copy of the registered survey have been provided to the municipality, that taxes are to be paid in full, that all Dutton Dunwich planning application fees set out in the fees bylaw be paid to the municipality, that a 911 sign be established for the severed and retained parcels, that all barns capable of holding livestock or are in disrepair on both the retained and severed lands be removed or decommissioned to the satisfaction of the chief building official, that the applicant confirms that with the municipality that they are a bona fide farmer, and that the solicitor provides an undertaking that a copy of the registered deed for the severed parcel, once the transaction has occurred, will be provided to the municipality. All in favor? And that's carried.
Thank you. Planner Tracy, I think your work is complete.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll carry on with correspondence. We're down to B. Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing, the provincial planning statement. Is there anything council wants to discuss on that issue? It's basically a letter from, I believe, Stephen Clark. Yeah. I don't see any questions or comments. Clerk Tara, resolution, please.
Moved by Pemberton, seconded by Drewler, that council provide feedback on the proposed PPS 2023 to staff for submission. All in favor? And that's carried. And
Go ahead.
moved by Drewler, seconded by Draco, that relevant correspondence was reviewed. All in favor? And that's carried.
Thank you. The consent agenda. Is there anything in that list from A to F the council wishes to discuss? Seeing nothing here. Just a comment. Your newsletters, Henry, on the EDC, I think are terrific. Keeps everybody in the loop. They're well written. Nothing further. Clerk Tara, please.
Moved by Dreyfus, seconded by Loveland, that the items on the consent agenda be approved. All in favor? And that's carried.
Okay, number 9 is our CAO Treasurer's Report on the 2022 Road Maintenance Annual Report. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor.
Tracy.
This report is in front of council, just more of an information report to show you where we're coming in for cost for looking after the county roads. As I stated last council meeting with the new set chart of accounts, I think we'll have better tracking of this and we'll might have a better number at the end of the day, but really we really need to have good numbers so that we can actually talk to the county about the cost of us looking after their roads and whether it is worthwhile for us to do it. And with the tracking that I had for this year, it does show that our taxpayers paid $6,000 of county road maintenance. Not a lot. If you add the 5% admin, then we lost 30,000. So I just think that I really need better tracking to make sure that this is really feasible for all the lower tiers. I mean, all the CEOs and treasurers are looking into this, that it's maybe not feasible or that maybe we're not getting our fair share out of it. I know that, you talk to all the road supervisors, they've got vehicles they don't need, they've got staff they don't maybe need. So it's got to come out so it's a better deal for us at the end of the day. So I just wanted to bring, I don't know that county's ever, or council's ever seen this report at the end of the day. It usually just goes to the county. So just wanted to bring it to your attention as information and we can go from there. So.
Any questions from council? Councillor Drulard.
Sorry, just one, Tracy. With this, I know that you're working on new tracking. And with this, does that give you more bones to go and argue with the county to talk with them and show them, hey, listen,
Yeah.
we're not,
Yeah.
we're losing here.
Yeah.
You need to help
Yeah.
us out
Yeah.
because, so.
So the main idea of this timesheet that's gonna, so the guys are actually tracking what they did, having GL numbers that actually are in line with the job cost, with a job, basically. So, each one will have its own little bucket. Then we can say, because, I have, because we are so limited with our GL accounts right now, it's kind of, everything's kind of going into like 30 accounts, let's say. So I have to analyze them all and make sure that that was really what was in there. And it's very time consuming and maybe not always 100% correct. 'Cause you might have not pulled something out, or you pulled something out you shouldn't have. So it's more getting everybody to do this on a job costing basis as opposed to just GLs, and so that we're tracking it. If you can't give the county a real number, you can't really complain that you're not getting your fair share from them. So at the end of the day, it still goes on the residents' tax rate. It's either going to come from them or come from us. But we get blamed for our tax rate, so we need to make sure it's right. So we'll go from there.
Tracy, is there any problem with sharing? I've seen the report from all the municipalities in Elgin County, and there's such a variation of some think they're money ahead, some think they're money behind, but it's just an interesting read to see where other municipalities, how they track it and where they're coming out in their road maintenance agreement. But like Tracy said, I can go to county council and say this isn't fair, but if we don't have accurate information, they don't take you seriously. But we're going to get there. Councillor Dreyfus.
I'm just maybe a dumb question, but how do they determine what we receive? Is it based on our rate payers, or is it based on the numbers, or
based
miles
on-
of roads, or what?
Yeah, it's based on, the miles of kilometers of roads. It's based on, they put it up by the CPI this year. There's actually a new road maintenance agreement in place right now, and none of us have signed it. We've gone together with, there's 4 of us municipalities that have gotten a lawyer to look at it because none of us are happy with it. They did not take into consideration anything that the road supervisors said or commented on. So it's a bit of a touchy subject right now, and they just don't seem to want to listen to the lower tiers. So, but I don't know how far we'll get with this. So.
Councillor Drulard.
And just one more thing, is there, in what you submit, is there anything for the wear and tear on our own municipal vehicles? And with the new agreement that they're asking you to sign, is there anything for the wear and tear on our municipal vehicles?
No. When I was part of the group who went through this whole road maintenance agreement when they got the consultants, and that was quite some of the stuff I was bringing up, is that I've got wear and tear on a vehicle that maybe I don't even need to own. I'm sending out staff on a county road that could get hurt. Then I'm in charge. Then I'm responsible for his WSIB or whatever. I'm paying him to be off when he was on a road he didn't need to be on. There's all these things that we take the risk for our staff, our vehicles, that is not taken into consideration in this agreement, as far as I'm concerned. So.
I believe there are some industry standards that the county uses to determine what they're willing to pay. I don't know whether it's government, senior levels of government provide that, or yeah, so they do base it on that. Anything further on the road maintenance agreement? I see nothing. Clerk Tara, please.
Moved by Loveland, seconded by Pemberton, that the council of the municipality of Dutton Dunwich receives the report of the CAO treasurer titled 2022 Road Maintenance Annual Report dated April 26, 2023 for information. All in favor? And that's carried.
Okay, the number 10, Executive Assistance Report, the updated hours of work policy that was provided in your agenda package. Is there anything we missed? Any questions from council?
I just have one quick question for you, Mr. Mayor. Tracy, is there any way that when she's providing or updated that we can have the yellow line? Yes, because then we have to go back and search for the policy to see what the changes are. Whereas if she attached both with the highlighted changes, that would be really, really beneficial to our time.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I believe we've actually brought this up before and I think I've mentioned it, but I will mention it to her again. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. I'd appreciate that.
Anything further? Councillor Pemberton?
Yeah, sorry, and I guess maybe I misunderstood, but I didn't think we were making any changes to the water shop and wastewater this year. It was just everybody was going down to 42.5 and it
Right.
was 40 next year.
Yes. So the water guys are not changing this year.
No.
They will go down in 2024, the same as the roads guys. And I have to update council that the majority of them already have volunteered to go down to 40 already. So
Okay.
it'll just be a couple at the end of the day that go back down next year. So
Yeah, the water was at 42.5, so roads are down to their level, and then next year further. Councillor Droulard?
And just one more question, and it just might be in the details. In the hours of work, after the policy statement, in the middle paragraph, it says, CAO treasurer has the right to change employee hours of work to ensure the needs of the municipality are met. Is that just for overtime, or if you decide that you want to change it to 35 hours, you're just going to go ahead and do that without council consultation?
no, that would be like overtime or have them start at
Okay,
7
'cause-
instead of 8 or something like that.
Because it does specifically later on in the policy say that for hours of overtime that you will be the approval authority. So I'm just ensuring that this is like clear that we're not gonna be.
No.
I mean, I don't specifically think that you're gonna go changing hours, but
After that last go around, I'm not touching those things again.
but I just want to be clear that this is clear in the policy that that's not exactly what's happening. Because it is mentioned about hours of overtime hours approval, you are the approval authority for that, so just ensuring that.
Would council like that to be modified and brought back, maybe, to make sure it's spelled out a little better? It's,
Is there a specific, I'm trying to find it here.
It's right after the policy statement and the scope. You're into the second line of hours of work, business hours.
Right to change.
So it's not the overtime, it's the business
Yeah.
hours. In the second line, it says the CAO treasurer has the right to change employee hours of work to ensure the needs of the municipality are met. So, as happened, we did this as a council decision with the reduction of the hours. And I just wanted to ensure because it's addressed in the overtime part of the
Right.
policy.
I'm wondering if that speaks to more like, it would be my decision if I was to let them go 4 10s or something along that line, maybe, or I wouldn't, yeah, I would never have the approval to say you're going down to 35 or you're going back to 44, but I'm not sure exactly what that's pertaining to.
Right, and so that's why I didn't think it was really spelled out clearly there, but maybe it was just me interpreting it that way. If everyone else is fine with it, I can live with it too. It wasn't clear to me.
Anything further?
Just one question, the new employees that were hired, I think there's 2 starting in May. Are they hired on 40 hours or 40? So all the new employees are, so we're almost there.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
That was the nice thing it was nice that some of them volunteered. They want to go to 40 right away because it made it easier to start the new people at 40. So,
Good.
yeah.
So our goals in the budget are pretty near met already, which is great. Anything further on that topic? Okay, Clerk Tara, please.
Moved by Pemberton, seconded by Drewlard, that the Council of the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich receives the report of the Executive Assistant titled Updated Hours of Work Policy dated April 26, 2023 for information, and that Council approves the policy as amended. All in favor? That's carried.
Thank you. Number 11, unfinished business. Is there anything? Okay, any new business?
Just the items that are on the agenda.
Okay. And this is just a conversation. I've had this conversation with some of council. And it's, why don't we have development charges? It's not just snapping your fingers and it happens. There's quite a bit goes into it. So this is just a conversation. Do we even want to head down that road? Do we want to give staff direction that we'd like to explore this? So I'm going to open up the floor, and if no, it's no. But if we want to investigate it further and have staff bring a report back to council to just actually see what's involved, and especially for the new councilors, and possibly Corey or Councilor Pemberton, you're aware of what's involved, but I'll open up the floor. Do we head down that road? Comments, please. Councilor Pemberton.
Wanted to make sure I turned my mic on so I don't have to drink. I think we should go down that road. I think it's good to look at. I know some developers aren't happy with development charges, but with the new rules implemented to phase them in, I think we're missing out on some recouping of costs from developers. A lot of other municipalities are going with development charges. I think the important thing is to keep our development charges realistic, not out of hand. So I would certainly agree with going down this road. I mean, obviously, you have to do a development charge study first. It takes about a year to get that completed. There's obviously a cost associated to that. So, it could be a consideration for next year's budget to say, let's start a development charges study for next year, and move forward from there. But I guess that's my standpoint on it at this point in time. I think we should look at it.
Thank you. Tracy.
Just to reiterate on the cost of those, you are allowed to take your studies envelope of your development charge and spend from it and have it in the whole and earn it back from your development charge study. If it came to something like that, because it wasn't budgeted, if you wanted to get going on it, because it does take a while, but it would depend on how many envelopes you decide to have in your development charge study. So, or in your development charge.
Councilor Drewlard.
No, I don't really have too much comment here. I certainly would be open to investigating it, and I would agree with Councillor Pemberton that we don't want to be unrealistic about what we're charging. Clearly, everybody that's already in development is exempt, so but new development, I think that it's prudent to probably at least have a look at it.
Councilor Dreyfus.
Yes, I'm in agreement that we should look at it. I think most developers are expecting it now. And again, we can be reasonable, but I think the fear always was is that we wouldn't get development. And we were afraid of, we wanted to see, potential development come here. But I think we should explore it, at least look at all the facts and what the impact is on the municipality. And it might be a source of revenue. So I think we're trying to find every bit of revenue we can. And I think development is one way we can do it. So.
Deputy Mayor Loveland.
I have no problem looking at it again. I know I sat through some of it with in Southwold the last time I was there. It does take away some control we have over connection fees if they're included in the development charges. But I guess it never hurts to take a look at it. But just so everyone realizes, I'm going by memory here, and that's kind of dangerous. But I think the cost for Southwold was something like 60 grand. So it's not cheap.
Comment, Councillor Drew.
Just one question. You just said that we could use and then repay from the development charges. Is there a time frame that has to be paid? Like it doesn't have to be within the year or, okay, thank you.
You obviously have to update your development charge study, every 5 years. So as the projects change, then the amount you put in envelopes change, but you would start out that new fee that you're gonna charge in the whole, so you would be collecting on it over the time. So, would the council be interested in me having Watson come back and do, I had them come and do a little, presentation to council last year before. And they're, I've worked with them for years on development charges and I mean, they're the ones that Gary Scanling is, what taught me development charges inside and out. So, I could have them come, they're quite willingly will come and talk to you guys and walk you through it and what it's gonna take and that kind of thing, if you'd like me to set that up again, so.
I'm seeing a lot of heads nod, so I think that's direction enough. Just further to that, Thames Valley District School Board is contemplating development charges. Don't know how that would work, but I wouldn't want to be sitting here on our hands and then have that one thrust upon us. I'd rather beat them to the punch, I guess is my comment.
Just means developers will be paying you more.
Just maybe add to that the school board development charges will be totally over and above whatever we do. And whether we have them or don't have them, if they do, they did. And we used to have, years ago, we did have a development charges for a while on the separate board, but they got out of that business after a while.
That's still a work in progress with Thames Valley. Okay. And the next is under B, it's the council committee appointments. As of last meeting, we made the Cenotaph Committee a committee of council. And in corresponding with Councillor Drewlard and Deputy Mayor Loveland, they have agreed to participate on that committee. And is it gonna have a resolution for both or separate? For both. And the second one is a budget committee that I've talked to our CAO treasurer, Tracy, about, and I think there's value in there to speed up the process for one thing, and to what I would like to see is implement a multi-year budget, you know, looking out a little farther. And Councillor Pemberton and Councillor Dreifhout have agreed to sit on that committee. Okay. So if there's no further discussion on the committees, Clerk Tara, please.
Moved by Drewlard, seconded by Dreyfus, that the council of the municipality of Dutton Dunwich appoints Deputy Mayor Loveland and Councillor Drewlard to sit on the Cenotaph Committee, and that council establishes a budget committee consisting of the CAO treasurer, clerk, and 2 council members, and appoints Councillor Dreyfus and Councillor Pemberton to sit on the committee. All in favor? And that's carried.
Thank you. Are there any announcements?
I have one. I
Okay.
managed to hire my co-op student. She's starting next Wednesday, so,
Good for you.
yeah.
Mhm.
I can't say it.
Can you,
I will have to have her pronounce it a few times to me, so.
You can't say it.
Yeah.
Oh, literally. Okay.
can you give us her background at least?
She's just the sweetest Chinese girl.
Okay.
Just
Accounting back?
Yeah, going into her third year of finance at Fanshawe, and just the greatest interview. And she, researched us and did all this interview. And she's like my daughter-in-law. My daughter-in-law's name is Shani, but she came up with Lemon when she moved to Canada, so we call her Lemon. So, but I'm like, I'm not even gonna try to pronounce it at this point. So until I get used to her, so I'm not being mean. I just couldn't say it.
Thank you for that. And when you get the name right, you'll make the announcement to council. Thank you. That's great news. Gee. We're closed. We've been going over an hour. We made an executive decision not to bring in much to eat this evening because we were hoping to get out of here, but we could take 5 minutes and allow Clerk Tara to get us into closed. Okay, let's do that. Thank you. One minute. Clerk Tara. Use that.
Moved by Dreyfus, seconded by Pemberton, that the Council of the Municipality of Dutton Dunwich now moves into a session of the meeting that shall be closed to the public at 6:11 PM in accordance with Section 2392 of the Municipal Act, SO 2001, Chapter 25, for discussion of the following matters: the security of the property of the municipality, Section 2392A of the Municipal Act, cybersecurity. All in favor? And that's carried.
Go ahead, Clerk Tara. Bylaw under 15A, the Hamilton Drain, final assessment.
Moved by Loveland, seconded by Drulart, that bylaw 2023-31 being a bylaw to amend the assessment schedule for the actual costs incurred for the construction of the Hamilton Drain be read a first, second, and third time and passed. All in favor? And that's carried.
Bylaw for the Duncan Leach Drain, final assessment. Clerk Tara.
Moved by Drulard, seconded by Dreyfus, that bylaw 2023-32 being a bylaw to amend the assessment schedule for the actual costs incurred for the construction and improvement of the Duncan Leach Drain be read a first, second, and third time and passed. All in favor? And that's carried.
And C, a bylaw for the McPhail Drain, final assessment.
Moved by Dreyfus, seconded by Pemberton, that bylaw 2023-33 being a bylaw to amend the assessment schedule for the actual costs incurred for the improvement of the McPhail Drain be read a first, second, and third time and passed. All in favor? And that's carried.
Thank you. And a bylaw for the Malcolm Blue Drain, final assessment.
Moved by Pemberton, seconded by Drulard, that bylaw 2023-34 being a bylaw to amend the assessment schedule for the actual costs incurred for the construction of the Malcolm Blue Drain be read a first, second, and third time and passed. All in favor? And that's carried.
And a bylaw for our code of conduct policy for council and local boards.
Moved by Drulard, seconded by Loveland, that bylaw 2023-35 being a bylaw to adopt a code of conduct policy for council and local boards to promote accountability and transparency in municipal governance be read a first, second, and third time and passed. All in favor? And that's carried.
And before we do F, can I slip down to 16? The date for the future meetings, May 10th and May 24th. But staff and myself want to see if we could have our summer meetings occur in the afternoon or earlier in the day where staff would be out of here at normal quitting time. So that's on the floor for discussion. Is it an issue with anyone?
Yeah,
Councilor Pemberton.
I have a difficult time with that. I don't know that I could get the time off work to get here. I certainly would make attempts to do it, but I could be here earlier. I could probably be here at like 4 o'clock without any issues, but to be out of here by or be here at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I doubt I can do that.
Councilor Doulard. Do you?
I'm I'm fine in the summer, but, if we all can't do it, then.
Yeah,
The two of us are not retired.
yeah, I understand that. And that's why I went to both of you first. Counselor Dreyfeld.
I'm flexible. I can make it work. I'm still doing a lot of work, but it doesn't matter. I can make it work, so.
Deputy Mayor Loveland.
Yeah, no problem. I can make it work, but
Counselor Pemberton, if you could look at the proposed dates of the summer meetings, whether that would influence it all or not, and we could deal with this again at a future meeting, if that's fair? Okay. Well, I think we're trying to work with you on that.
Yeah, like if you were to say, okay, like 1 hour. See what I could do. That's a fair start time if.
Well, if you would do that, okay.
See what I'll, yeah, I'll, let me know.
Does that work, Clerk Tara? Yeah, we don't need to make a decision tonight. We're just floating that balloon here.
I mean, I'd like to comment. I mean, if we ever, if the problem is if there's any closed sessions in July and August that we wouldn't be able to be here during office hours. So there would be that to consider as well. So, you know, maybe even,
What's your meeting time?
nothing is soundproof here, believe me. Maybe even, you know, like a 3 o'clock start or something where if we had to go, I don't know, you know, certainly. It was just a thought that it's summer and we knew Amerilis was off and then we weren't sure how you could do it. Just so everybody's home at a reasonable hour, but it's not the end of the world either, so.
Okay, we'll make a decision at a further meeting. Okay, Clerk Tara, 15F, a bylaw to confirm proceedings.
Moved by Loveland, seconded by Dreyfus, that bylaw 2023-36 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the municipal council of the municipality of Dutton Dunwich be read a first, second, and third time and passed. All in favor? And that's carried.
And the last one.
Moved by Dreyfus, seconded by Pemberton, that the meeting of the council of the municipality of Dutton Dunwich closes at 6:51 p.m. All in favor? And that's carried.
Okay, thanks, everyone.
We were close, Tara.
Are the Leafs playing tonight?